Alright, it's midnight, October 11th, my brother's birthday. We're heading out to Oklahoma. Got my pops, wife and kiddos. We're all in the burb. Bear with us. 20 hours. Alright, we made it to, now we're outside of Oklahoma City. Got the gang in the truck. Little knuckleheads right here. Boo! It's time to go hunting. Load this bad boy up. Wife's getting food. We named her Jalissa on the receipt. She has no idea yet. Alright, we'll see you guys in a bit. How was your food, Jalissa?
It was very good. Here.
I already showed the Jalissa. Alright, we gotta feed the gremlins. We made it. 20 plus hour drive. It's about 10:30 at night here at the house. Everyone's tired. Pop here is gonna start getting unloaded. We also got a hog in the hog trap on the cell cam, so we're a little beat tonight. We don't know if we want to deal with all that, so we're gonna let him enjoy his last supper. All the goodies in there for him, and then we'll go get him in the morning. So we'll get that on video too. Ooh, look at that shadow. Alright. Have the drone. Obviously we can do a little bit with cell cams, but those get kind of pricey throughout the year. So I have a few hog traps set up since we do have a hog issue, and ran into some issues with cameras, so we just said, you know what, it's a good thing in the morning to come out, get a cup of coffee after we come in from the stands. We'll throw the drone in the air, and we actually have a hog in one of the traps. So we are gonna go get one of those hogs rounded up right now. As you guys know, they do tear up feeders and food plots, and they did a number on my food plots this year. So it's kind of our turn to get a little payback. So stay tuned. We'll be over there in about 10 minutes.
Emergency landing.
DJI,
almost
baby.
died.
Looking for the other portion of it. It's probably stuck in him, but this one's good.
So I'll show you guys a little bit of our hog trap here. Obviously we just shot one. We have camera on this so we can kind of see, but the other one we don't. We have a drone that will fly. But this one right here, we call it a Texas hog trap or a 6 trap. Just like, depending on where you're at, a bunch of different names for it, but you just make a big 6. And then you put a little bit of tension on the trap here. So, these pigs will go in here, and then they'll slap shut. We put a little extra tension because the pigs we have out here have broken this trap a number of times, bent it, and as you'll see in the footage, they almost jump out of it. And these are all, these bends here that you're seeing this high up is them running full speed and jumping, putting their head through that, and it bends it. So when you get, you know, most of these pigs are 50 to 100 pounds. We We've had a couple that are around 400 in here. I mean, their backs are up to here. So with that, we're gonna set this thing back up and see if we can catch some more. But we got about 60 to 80 hogs right now, kind of causing issues with our food plots and our feeders and stuff. So they're pushing out the deer and they're just ravaging everything. And we'll show you guys some of the footage of our fields that are just blown out. So we're trying what we can. It is October 12th, middle of deer season. So we're trying to be in here discreet. Normally we'd come out here with the ARs and get it done quick, but we're trying to be a little bit quiet. So cool, I'll show you some pictures. All right, so for our scent out here in Oklahoma, we like to use a lot of different things. There's stuff you can buy at your local stores. We're not sponsored by Scent Blender or anything like that, but I've been using this now for about 2.5 to 3 years, and it seems to work for me. I can get kind of the local scents around the area. So I have one that's already done here, but what we do is you can kind of go to, like, I know where I'm going to be sitting tonight in my tree stand. There's a lot of cedar trees within the area, and we used to rub the scent kind of all over us with the actual branch. You take the branch off like this, and you know, you get a handful of these bad boys, and you can just slide them down, get it real thin, and we used to rub it all over like our shoulders and stuff and get that, like, that oil out of it. Well, now Scent Blender has a product here where you can kind of go to your local trees and pull off all these little branches in here, and basically get your area. I've done it with acorns as well, and some of the general spots, the leaves and in that area I'll stuff in here, and then I'll basically, we're setting up 2 of them right now because we're going out tonight. So it'll look like this. You just turn it on, blend it all up, and it'll obviously turn the color you got. But there's a little button here, and we'll shut that down. I like to shake it all off because of the little blender in here. And then I got, obviously you can't smell it, but really strong cedar smell. So then I'll come over here. It's about 2 o'clock right now, so we're a little early, but I'll kind of shake this up in here, and now I got a pretty strong cedar aroma that's straight here from the local land. So now I'm gonna come over here, and I like to get it kind of heavy because we just drove, obviously, in the other parts of the video, 20 hours. We had dogs in the truck, food, a bunch of stuff. I mean, I know the bags were outside, but still, scent's obviously a big deal. We got really rough thermals and wind swirls right now where we're sitting, so any extra stuff I can do to try to mitigate that, I'm gonna do so. But yeah, the weather's a little warm. We're expecting a cold front tomorrow.
Midweek.
Well, midweek, sorry. So we're in October 13th, 12th and 13th, the last couple of days. It's been rather warm, so, and actually what I like to do too is, this is just me, but I like to take this thick stuff right here and just get clumps of it in here, because it is a little wet, and then oils are kind of all up in this water now, and I'll just kind of rub it all in here and let it sit on the clothes there. So this will hang dry. It's gonna sit here for probably another 25-30 minutes. So they just pulled everything out of the dryer after using the stuff that we use, the scent killer. But I could still smell stuff out of the dryer, so I know the deer can obviously smell a lot more than us. But yeah, we'll get after it. Yeah, and then I'll see you guys in the stand in about an hour and a half. Good morning. It's October 14th. It's about 4:30 in the morning. 10-degree cold front came through, so we're kind of at that front point of the initial cold front that's coming through. It's still in the 60s. Yesterday was 70s, so today's going to be like 64 this morning, and then tomorrow is supposed to be the big drop. So Midweek will be a lot more, probably a 30-degree difference. But we're already seeing deer move on the cameras, which is cool. So hopefully we can slip in without spooking too many deer. So, but check out the pop setup. Just gotta mark something. And go the Grim Reapers, baby. Yeah, I'm shooting the Rage hypodermic no collars. I love those broadheads. They work for me, but we're gonna get all sprayed down right now and make a slow, easy trek into the woods. See if we can't minimize the spooking of deer. So I'm gonna go no headlamp all the way to my stand because I do have to cross a pretty big pasture, and there's really no way around it. So yeah, wish us luck. Let's see what happens. So it's about 6:30 in the morning, and we had a couple bucks come through, and they all stopped at this one small cedar and started putting a scrape on it. Didn't see any scrapes a couple days prior, but we're in that mid-October phase where these bucks are starting to get active. We have that small cold front that come through and got everything moving, so we're starting to kind of see some action. So soon after, a second buck come through about an hour later and hit the same exact scrape. So usually throughout the year we're trying to, locate these scrapes and put a camera on them, and not every day do you get to see it happen in front of you, but happen back to back. So thought that was pretty cool. As you see right here, kind of makes a round to it, and they leave their scent and their markings and see who's in the neighborhood.
Today is October 15th, and me and Harper are on the new 40 ground board. So we're all decked out, the black backdrop, and Harpy's first day hunting. You excited? Are you excited? Daddy is beyond excited. So whatever comes out today is getting smoked. Horns down.
The last couple nights we have been watching cams and checking scrapes and throwing up new cameras, and we found this little spot right here that's pretty thick, has a little bit of water in it, and kind of butts up to that creek. It's like 600 yards away from the other tree stand, but we got some awesome photos of this buck. But the problem we're running into is it's a full moon and he is not daylighting. So we're gonna play this out and just keep watching and see what we can see. And sure enough, we had a few encounters towards the evenings. So knowing that this buck is showcasing himself in daylight in the evening is gonna be a cat and mouse game of trying to locate him, but we know his bedding area and his travel zones from all the cameras we threw out to just try to stay on top of him. And we'll see if we can't catch him. So we saw him the evening prior, and I sat the same exact stand the second time, thinking maybe he'll come through. I seen him chasing this one doe around, and all of a sudden I see two does pop out of the same section I initially saw him on, and I thought we were going to get it done this morning. So this is October 18th, and it's my birthday, so I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to be it. Well, this single doe here comes cruising through, and he hooks a left. So I look over my right shoulder, and he's coming out to that center pasture, which just behooves me because he had been passing through here, hitting this scrape on our scrape cam, and again, just caught my wind and took off. So this buck, we've been playing chess for the last week and a half, but we've had him on camera. He's a pretty mature buck for this area, but he's been working this wood line here, and then he would come out here. And traditionally I have a stand here that we call the pond, and the tree stand's up over there. So I would catch him coming through these timbers right here. So I cut the tree in there, or the tree stand in there, and I was able to see him kind of travel, but it was always at last light or first light where you almost couldn't get a shot at him. So there's a pretty hard scrape in here that they're working. I got on camera. I got a lot of cool stuff with the deer passing through this little area, but there's a big river right here, so it's kind of a pinch point of them staying covered. Well, this guy would come out here and rut. He was rutting, chasing a couple does yesterday and the day prior, but he would always come in and catch my wind right here. And bad thermals, bad weather, like we had a cold front 3 days ago come in, but my wind would just drop right into this little valley right here, this little opening. So he would come out here. Obviously I can't get a shot that way. My stand goes that way, and here. If I had him the other night right here at 30 yards, but again, couldn't get a shot. So I had to just watch him. So I've had to watch him 3 times now and not take a shot. So this morning, or yesterday, we decided noon, you know what, let's play a little game on him. I threw a second tree stand in here. So I got my vertical tree stand in here, and it shades me in the sun from the morning, and my wind will go back there. I don't really see them travel on the other side of that tree towards the lake often. They kind of stay in this little pocket right here. So we switched it up on him. This morning he came out at daylight, or probably 10-20 minutes before like shooting light, and he walked right underneath the tree right here, stood up, did a little scrape right here, and then started moseying over that way. He sat there and fed for about 20 minutes, and then something across the field kept spooking him. He kept looking up, and he was making his way back. Well, come find out there's 3 does behind me, and they're starting to lift their heads up. One of them staring directly at me, and mind you, I'm pretty covered where I'm at. So these 3 does are starting to trot back, and then he starts making his way back towards the same exit plan that they got. So as he made his way back, burped him real quick, and then the shot that I was able to take was not like the best shot I wanted, but it's a frontal shot. So him basically staring at me, I had to go on the front side of his shoulder, almost to his upper chest, neck area, down through his vitals. The shot made me kind of nervous initially because I didn't think it got that deep of penetration, but played the videos back multiple times. I waited him for 2 hours, 2.5 hours to go look for him, and we found a really small blood trail, which I would expect because it's up high. Everything's going to sink in his cavity. So we only had a couple drops out the gate, and then it started getting a little heavier, but it was all bright red, so it was kind of exciting. But So we're midday right now. We're checking a couple spots, just trying to get out. And again, we're out of state, so we only have limited time to kind of get movement and see where they're coming from. But we did locate a couple scrapes, so that's huge because we have a lot of these bucks on camera, and now we can get more insight to the chest match. So I'll show you these scrapes here in just a second. And I'm gonna check an old scrape that I've always seen off one of the roads here. That's always been good. So we'll see if they've hit that this season. I checked it about late September, which we're not gonna really see any real big activity, but last year I was seeing it really late summer, pretty active. So had a camera there and multiple different bucks came to that exact spot. So we're about 30 yards, 25 yards from the other scrape. So I'll show you this one right here. This is a fresh scrape right here. There used to be a lot of cattle on this property back in the day, but this used to be a hideout in this thicket here. We had a lot of camera activity in here last year. So I'm gonna go check a couple other spots. So there's a pretty big trail that comes right through here, and this is pretty fresh within the last couple days, but there used to be an old trail that come through here and went to this tree right here. You kind of see this used to be rubbed raw right here. I mean, geez, right to here to here. But we got a fresh one over here. Let me try to stay out of here too. We still got 2 weeks to hunt, so I'll let it sit.
Nice.
Tell me that again. Daddy's gonna go out right now and shoot some does because I already got my 2 bucks filled. So now I gotta get the does, but I'm gonna shoot the mean ones.
Yeah, the mean ones.
Okay, not the nice ones.
That's the nice ones.
Okay, those are the cool ones, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I won't shoot those ones.
We're not shooting babies either.
No babies. Nope, no babies.
Nope, no babies.
No babies.
And big old bucks.
And big old bucks, but not for me. Grandpa only now.
Yep,
Grandpa's gonna go sit a
stand.
stand to get a big one.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's gonna get really smoked.
Really? It's gonna get really smoked. Give me a kiss. I love you. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Alright, so it's October 19th in the evening. Filled both my tags for bucks. Now we're here to get Papa Monster. So that buck that I shot, there's about 2 to 3 bucks bigger than him. He just had a bigger body. So he must have started rutting pretty early. But these other bucks have a little bit bigger racks. So hopefully we can't get him on one of those. Looks like there might be a 10-point cruising around this area we call the barn timbers. Temperature won't help us today, but it's hot today. So early this week, we were going through that cold front and it got nippy in the morning. So we had all of our winter gear on and pretty cozy for the most part, but now you'll be sweating. So we're in just light gear. We're all scented down. We use that scent blender with the cedar in there, and that seems to do the trick. So he's gonna videotape today, so hopefully get him a buck on camera. But I'm gonna be putting some does in the freezer now. So freezer queens are getting slocked.
I've still got a week left, so if it's no big buck, it'd definitely be some freezer meat.
Yep. Ultimately, we're here to fill the freezer. Trophies are cool, but
That's my goal.
we got one priority. If we can have the rest of it,
If we get a big buck along the way, that's what makes the icing on the cake.
This is where we split. He goes to his and I go to mine. So, all right, good luck. All right, let's get after it. So I'm sitting in the stand and my dad texts me, buck down. So I'm waiting for pictures because I'm still on my hunt to get some does. And I've only had a spike come through here for the most part. So I'm waiting to hear from him, and the wife goes down there to track it with him, and it only ran 15 yards. So check this out.
Oh, wow.
Dylan is almost touching right here. Yeah! Look at that blood spot. Oh,
You got it all.
oh man, I'm so freaking happy. Oh my god.
This is a special buck. My dad shot his first whitetail buck in Wisconsin when he was 12 years old, and it looks very similar. The main beams don't quite touch on the other one, but this was kind of a childhood memory to take a character buck like this. So this moment was definitely cherished from him being almost 60 years old, and he's just in awe with the frame of this buck. It's not a 160 class deer, but to him it's super special, and that's what it's all about. All right, guys, that sums up our 2024 deer season. We'll talk a little bit about behind the scenes and what it kind of takes to get, out of state hunting going. It's not necessarily the easiest, and we took these younger bucks this season, but we're proud of them, and we'll explain why. So, we live out of state, so we're from California. We know. Go ahead and put in the comments. You're going to hear about it. But we're hunting in Oklahoma, so we have a couple hundred acres out here, family land, and we're actually filming this in our barn here on my wife's side. So with that being said, this barn's over 150 years old, and we've cleaned it up over time, and in here we put our deer stands and all of our stuff that it takes for us to come out here on a whim to get this season going. So this season kind of goes back to July and August time frames when we come out here and we start throwing up cameras, and we start the initial phase of brush hogging, getting food plots going, and just kind of setting up for that range of work that it's going to drag into deer season or the early deer season. So with that, I drive back or fly depending on what the world will let us do. We're all working men and blue collar guys in the middle class that are just trying to get after it. So what happens is I'll fly out here and we start the setup phase. So the setup phase entails getting all that land managed, throwing up cameras, getting feed out, food plots set up. We have a little bit of heavy equipment out here with our family, so it's kind of nice. We get that avenue going, and we'll set that all up to try to make it smoother, because our time is precious. Because I'm out here on a 1 week vacation, you can call it, but with the job I have, I'm allowed to kind of move around days and get out here for a whole week. So in that 1 week, I only have a week to get things done, when most people that live in this state or live out of state in general and get to hunt whitetail have kind of year-round time frames. So in 1 week, I have to knock out brush hogging, get food plots, stands thrown. I have to get feed out if I'm going to do that, because we are on private land. So, and then by the time I get my cameras going,
And you do this by yourself?
it's a one-man show. If I can get someone, because I have a different type of job, so for me to get out here on this, on a whim kind of thing, it's nice, but it's also taxing. So, and it costs a lot of money over the course of time. So, as you can see behind us, this is kind of all the stuff I've acquired in the last few years, just putting up different tree stands and playing the game of chess with these whitetail. Yes, these aren't 200-inch bucks, but we're pretty damn proud of them, if I could be honest, because this is
every year we've shot a bigger buck. And you know, my joke is every year there's always something different to learn. There's always something to grow from. And I got one buck that's on the target. Hopefully he's on camera here next year or the year after. He's probably about 5 or 6 now, but we call him Old Two Times. So that's the buck for me that has taught me the game of whitetail and how to, you know, play that chess match with them and get your skills up. But he's schooled me enough because, you know, us being from California, we're West Coast hunters. So this is something that I've had to learn over the last 4 or 5 years, to just come out here and basically sit in a tree and take my bow for a walk, because I don't know the little things that, you know, people that grew up out here do. So, you know, I can ask people, sure, but that takes kind of the joy out of it and the true humbleness from it. So to get out here and get schooled by these bucks and learn and see some monster bucks, you know, 160, 170 plus deer that are coming through that make these look small. You know, you see these deer come through, you're like, man, they got me again. So each year we've moved stands, we've done food plots in a different area, we've got food plots to come through. This year kind of, I wouldn't say fell through, but we've again had another issue. So we have a hog problem. So our hogs come through, and you know, right when we get everything looking prim and proper, these hogs come through and destroy it all. So we used to have, you know, 10, 15 hogs. Now we're upwards to 100. So drinking beers and coming out with ARs is cool, but we can't get out here enough because we're out of state to manage that side of things. So, you know, this year we had to throw some corn, which is not the biggest, you know, the thing that we want to do. But at the end of the day, this isn't, you know, every deer that we shoot's a trophy in our family, because this is the meat we put on the table. And we eat the deer meat, the venison, all year round. So, you know, these do taste a lot different than our West Coast mule deer and Pacific hybrids. So for us, we do enjoy this meat. You know, my kids love it, my wife loves it, so kind of allows me to come out and hunt, which is pretty cool. And this season was a first for me. I got to take my daughter out hunting for the first time, which was super cherishable for me. And you know, so at the end of the day, we were able to harvest these 2 nice bucks. And then my dad has another buck that he harvested, a very cool character buck that we'll kind of talk about now. So this buck was in a bachelor group, because we did come out and hunt the early season. So I'm a huge fan of early October. Just my work schedule kind of allows it. It's nice. I don't have too much stuff going on. I would love to come there in the rut, but hey, that's what we got to deal with. So we come out here and hunt early season. So again, we pregame from July to about September. We start watching what bucks are going to be on the map, and we start kind of seeing which ones we can narrow down, because they still are on that fall pattern. They haven't switched over yet, or that summer to fall pattern. They're still there. So we can kind of pattern them. We do, obviously, we throw a lot of cameras. We have upwards of 15 to 20 cameras out to kind of watch them all year round. So these cameras aren't just thrown out in July. These are out in March, you know, all the way through the year. So we watch them through their velvet phase all the way till now. We see which bucks are growing. You know, we see all the cool stuff, I would say, out of the mix. I mean,
We pick out probably 10 bucks that are target bucks.
you know, they're just, yeah, there's something on the map. You know, they might not be huge, but they're cool character. They got something unique about them that we think is pretty cool. But obviously, you know, I have one buck that's been on my map for years, and he's got split eye guards now. He's got extra time. It's crazy. I think next year he'll blow up. But you know, these bucks come out and gave us opportunities. This one right here was more of the chess match I had this season. I've seen him on the cameras all year long. Definitely caught me a couple times. He winded me pretty good, and I have it all on film, which is kind of cool. We started using the 4th Arrow camera arm setup, and with that being said, you know, 4 days in a row, this buck had basically got me. You know, caught me coming in, you know, at 4 in the morning, you know, with the full moon. Like, we didn't have any opportunities through an open pasture to get around them. We're kind of up on an embankment from water. We got a highway in the way. We got a huge lake on the property. So to get around this buck, you know, where they bed and where they feed, and that whole barbell method is kind of blown with just the initial way the property is. So setting that game up is rather challenging. So he caught me a couple times, and I'm like, well, I can't get out any earlier because it's a full moon. So they're basically seeing me walking through the pasture, so I got to go around the tree line.
Sometimes
Well,
we're out 2 hours prior to
Yeah.
daylight,
So
sitting
they-
in a stand for 2 hours.
You know,
hoping to
we
come-
try to get out there early before they even make their, their trek to get food. And it's, these are long days and early mornings, but, this is the joy and fun we have out of this. Yeah, sitting in a tree 2 hours, 2.5 hours before the sun comes up, rather tiring, but at this time frame in this year, with the heat we have, I mean, hell, it's been in the 90s this entire.
We only had 2 days, maybe at 39
We had the
degrees.
initial cold front of October come through, and it just happened to land on the days we were out here, which was really nice. So we just see a lot of movement.
We also had a full moon,
That's what I'm saying.
probably for the whole time we were here.
the full moon coming out with the cold front kind of made it somewhat hopeful. But you're sitting there and you're seeing these deer move at, on our cameras 2, 3, 4 in the morning, just consistent, and it gets rather challenging. Like, well, how can I catch them in the daytime? Obviously, they eat 4 to 5 hours apart, within the range. But that cold weather kind of got them out, and that's when we were able to take these guys here. So this one was October 2nd, which was, I wouldn't say the coolest day, but it just happened to have a cloudier day where we're at. And this guy come out with a bachelor group, and he looks substantially bigger than the other bucks. And it's early season, and again, I'm trying to fill the freezer. So I went ahead and took this buck, and I'll show that on video here in a minute if it hasn't been seen yet. But he was a good buck. So he had a quartering away shot that I tucked right behind his rib cage. He went about 60 yards and piled up in the bushes. I'm sure you'll hear it. Buck. So
these are Dylan's bucks. So Dylan got this buck day after his birthday, and it was a great morning of celebrating and enjoying the harvest of that buck. And I'll have to admit, there was a little jealousy, but at the same time, I was happy for him because it's a lot of work trying to figure these bucks out, especially on a private property. It's not like we're hunting public land. So that night, later on, he's on a binge for does and trying to fill the freezer. I'm out trying to get my buck.
well, we set you up with the camera too, which was that's
anyway,
new. So we got him set up with the
I
camera arm
got
now.
this camera arm, and I'm trying to hook this camera up. So I get up in my stand, and we have a name for it, but I won't go there. So anyway, I'm up in my
History.
stand, and I put the camera arm out, and I've got this thing set up, and I'm putting the camera arm, got it locked in place, and I put my cell phone up there to do my filming. Well, my widget for camera and video was actually covered by the device that I have holding my phone. So at this point now, I have a glove on, and I got to take my glove off, start moving this widget over. Well, I'm not making a whole lot of noise. I'm still pretty quiet. But in the midst of doing this, because my son is telling me, hey, you got to videotape this kill shot that you're going
Get it
to
on
slam
film.
on this
Get it on
deer.
film.
Put it on film, Years ago I filmed, but we're talking the old big box film cameras, VHS.
The Schlockmaster version?
Those giant Schlockmaster versions, So anyway, so I got my cell phone. I just got it set up. I started to move the widget over. And right when I got to that point where I was getting ready to hit video to see how it's going to work, I hear leaves rustling down in front of me. And it's coming up along this other property line. And the buck I happen to see is a basket buck. He's a good 9-point.
Yeah.
And his rack main beams come all the way out and touch to where they're 3/4 of an inch from each other at tip to tip. And I see him jump the fence in front of me. My bow is behind me on a hanger, and it's got an arrow ready to go. And I'm thinking, this thing didn't even see me. And I'm here messing with my camera. So anyway, I reach around, I grab my bow, and there's no way I got any time to put this on video. A lot of guys, yeah, you should have got it on video. But you know what? I wanted this buck, and I didn't want to take that time to screw around and let him get out of my distance
Cameras are
amongst
luxury.
all the thickness that I had in front of me. So the buck cuts across this trail, and he goes behind a cedar tree. And at that point then, I got to full draw. He came around that cedar tree, and then I just had a little bit of an opening, and I slammed him at 15 yards. And my Grim Reaper 3-blade blows right through him, perfect shot. And he takes off, runs down, and later on, we end up tracking it, finding it. Of course, the blood trail was big enough that a blind man could have found his way through it, just feeling it.
We even laughed because I had just gotten my tree stand. I think I was in my tree stand for 15 minutes. I finally just got settled in. Mind you, we're getting out 4 o'clock.
I was probably in my
4:15.
stand an hour, maybe an hour, not even.
We're getting out, and that day we were running a little behind because we had stuff going on with the family. Because again, we're on vacation, so we got to kind of make everything work. So we finally get out, and we think we're about 5 o'clock when we finally get in the stand, which is way late for what we wanted to be with the weather.
We got in late. 5:55 is when I actually shot this buck. So 55 minutes from the time I got in the stand, messing with this camera and sitting quietly. All of this happened so fast that I ended up putting a good shot on this buck. Well, anyway, my daughter-in-law comes out. She helps me track it, and it only went 82 yards and it piled up down at the bottom of this ravine.
It's a pretty good ravine right there. So these deer are just off the top and go right down the bottom, as always.
And when I got to it, I knew he had a very close main beam touching each other, but honestly speaking, I thought he was way bigger than what I thought. But he was a 9 point. I was thinking maybe 10 or more, but the way he came through, he just looked massive. I automatically grabbed my phone off my little hookup, and I started texting my son, telling him I just shot a whopper.
He goes, I shot a monster, and I'm like, mind you, I had just set in, got my hands all quiet, I'm gonna sit dead still. Phone buzzes in my pocket, and I go, oh, who is this? I thought I obviously, when we're out here hunting, I put it on Do Not Disturb, but I have 2 people, my wife and my dad, because we're out here hunting. Like, there's the only people that are gonna be able to talk to me. So it's only buzzing if it's them. So I'm like, I pull it back out all slow and look at it real quick. I shot a monster, and I text back, already? We've been in the stand for 20 minutes. I go, did you get it on film? And he goes, no. I go, what's the whole point of that kid? Like, what are you doing? Well, he starts laughing. He's like, I didn't have time. So, that's the kind of the beauty of these small, properties we're on is we have a lot of movement through here. And in this area that we're in, it's public land that kind of funnels right into our private land. So we kind of get these floaters, these satellite bucks that come through, and we don't have this buck on camera.
I was just going to say, I never saw this one on camera.
We've never had this buck on camera. We've looked through, we're talking 4 or 5 years of cameras.
Although the night before I got out of my stand, I had a buck that was 45 yards staring at me just twilight before dark. And I couldn't shoot him. I couldn't even see my pins, but I could see the glare off of his horns. But I couldn't tell if he was a basket. I didn't notice the basket buck, but his G2s were kind of tall. Those are the 2 tips that I could see, but I wasn't sure if that's even him. I still to this day don't know if that's the same buck.
And we
or
had
not.
thought, because I had 2 bucks scraping on, I think it was the 13th. But I'm sitting there in the stand, and I thought for sure it was his buck because I had passed up 2 or 3 bucks that morning. And they literally come down in a cedar tree right in front of me and start just giving this tree some hell. And they finish off this tree, and then this nice 8-point buck just goes by and he moseys off. And I'm like, okay, he's a good buck, but he'll let him grow, he'll get bigger. Here comes the second buck, just passing through, does a big U-turn, comes back, that same tree, hits it. 45 minutes later, starts scraping it again. So I had thought that buck that he shot, because it was still fairly dark, I can see it, but obviously the camera can't. So I see this buck hitting this scrape, and I'm like, okay, well that's got to be his buck that he shot. It's very similar, but its main beam ain't touching as close. So his main beam is so close that it's indescribable. You can see the difference.
You could probably get a finger and a half through there.
Yeah, I can put my finger in that and it touches. Both horns touch. So a very unique character buck. And same with this guy too. Obviously these main beams on whitetail kind of lean down and forward. This guy's rack just went straight up. And I'll pick this up real quick and I'll kind of show you. His rack, most of them come out to about right in here. His is just going straight up and straight back. So good character bucks as well. And he's got like a, what did you guys call it?
He's got a
not a swan mouth, but pelican mouth right here. He's got a big character.
Looks like a cormorant.
Yeah.
Cormorant's beak with the open mouth.
He's got a big mouth open in here. This would obviously,
back
these
of
bucks,
the throat.
These bucks were super unique, but we're just, we had a great time coming out here and getting after it, and this is, every year they get bigger. So
my buck's not here because it's at the taxidermist.
yeah, it is gonna get done. It's a character buck for sure. But again, we thank you guys for watching this video and kind of getting to see and know, where we're coming from with the out-of-state hunting and and trying to get it done. You know, I am a father, a family man, and you know, a husband, and I got to deal with a lot at work, and you know, just like the rest of us. So, you know, to get time out here in the woods is very precious when, you know, our time in this age group, in this phase, is directed towards the kids and the family. So to get out here and do this, we've tried to make it happen. You know, all those extra minutes we have in the day, we're out here at night with headlamps, making sure the property is ready, and preseason, and doing all this extra stuff we can. So when we come out here, we hunt pretty hard. We're gonna do a AT&T wall at the house where they go from small to big, because every year they've been bigger in mass and bigger in points and bigger in size. And this buck had a massive body on him. Actually made his rack look smaller when we got up on him. I go, that's what I shot? You see his neck.
They got some
neck
big bodies.
just barreled
Big bodies.
out. You know, I mean, you know, I'm a firm believer too out here. You know, this late, you know, mid-October to late October is kind of when these guys start rutting, I would say, pretty hard. I got to witness this guy fight a bigger buck midfield with that full moon. Literally see him out there with my binos at 8 o'clock at night, because, you know, I'm waiting to get, you know, picked up at that point, because I got deer everywhere, so I don't want to spook them by walking. So I got my bow all on the ground, and I'm getting ready to crawl out of the stand, and I see these guys come out, and they just start going at it. You know, so they're fighting, they're sniffing does. These does are dropping off, single does, walking around, running through trees. These guys got their heads down. It's like they're almost, you know, starting the rut now with that initial cold front. And, you know, the scrapes over the last couple of weeks have been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, November is obviously the best time with that cold fronts coming in. I think we're going to see more this year. But I think weather
changed big on us.
I think that initial cold front got them moving, because that's when we got our deer. That's when we got these 2 bucks, and yours as well, and they got out hard this year. So, yeah, it's all around. It's such a great time and a lot of fun, and I think a lot of us enjoy it. And the peace and quiet is to die for if you haven't done it. But if you made it this far in the video, we appreciate it. And we'll wrap this up with a couple outro videos on the deer. And thanks again for watching. We appreciate it.
Oh my God.